The mid-1990s were a time of great uncertainty for Apple Computer. The company, once a shining beacon of innovation, seemed to have lost its way. Sales were plummeting. The products were uninspired. The once loyal customer base was dwindling. A dark cloud hung over Apple's Cupertino campus. The Macintosh, once a revolutionary machine, had lost its competitive edge. Microsoft Windows, with its lower prices and wider software compatibility, had captured the lion's share of the personal computer market. Apple seemed powerless to stop the bleeding. The company cycled through CEOs, each promising a turnaround that never materialized. Morale among employees was at an all-time low. The sense of excitement and purpose that had once permeated Apple was gone, replaced by a pervasive fear of the future. Apple, the company that had once dared to think different, was now struggling to survive. At the heart of Apple's woes was a crisis of identity. The company had lost sight of what had made it great, a relentless focus on innovation, design, and user experience. Instead, it had become bogged down in bureaucracy and infighting. The product lineup was a confusing hodgepodge of models. The once vaunted operating system, Mac OS, was showing its age. The management team, lacking the vision of Steve Jobs, seemed unable to chart a clear course. Cost-cutting measures further eroded employee morale and stifled innovation. Apple had become a lumbering giant, seemingly incapable of adapting.
I remember those days vividly. It felt like we were just drifting with no real direction or purpose.
As Apple's financial situation deteriorated, industry analysts and media pundits began to write the company's obituary. The consensus was clear: Apple was on the verge of collapse. Some even speculated that the company would be forced to sell itself off to a competitor or be relegated to a niche player in the technology industry. The company's stock price, once a high flyer, had plummeted to a fraction of its former value. Investors were fleeing. Retailers were hesitant to stock Apple products. The once unthinkable was now a distinct possibility. Apple, the company that had revolutionized personal computing, might soon be a thing of the past. The company was bleeding cash. Its market share continued to shrink. The once loyal customer base, frustrated by the lack of compelling products and the company's apparent inability to innovate, was defecting to the competition. The future looked bleak for Apple Computer.
The writing was on the wall. It seemed like every other week there was another article predicting Apple's demise. Investors were losing faith, and it was becoming increasingly difficult to see how the company could turn things around.
Crisis proves character, the second coming. In 1997, Apple's board of directors made the decision to bring back Steve Jobs.
Ousted from the company I had co-founded, I returned to find Apple a shadow of its former self. Yet, I possessed the vision, the passion, and the unwavering belief in Apple's potential.
Jobs' return was a much-needed injection of energy and focus. He quickly set about streamlining the product line and refocusing the company on its core strengths: innovation, design, and user experience.
My message was clear. Apple would no longer try to be everything to everyone. We would focus on creating the best products in the world.
Crisis proves character.
When Steve returned, it was like a breath of fresh air. We were struggling, but his vision gave us hope. He streamlined our projects and refocused us on what we did best.
As a loyal Apple customer, I could feel the change. The products started to get better, more intuitive, and frankly, more exciting. It was clear that Apple was back on track.
This period marked a renaissance in Cupertino. The company introduced groundbreaking products that redefined their categories, from the iMac to the iPod. Apple was once again a leader in innovation and design.
We felt a renewed sense of purpose. We were not just making gadgets. We were creating experiences that would shape the future.
Every new product launch was like an event. We couldn't wait to see what Apple would come up with next. It was an exciting time to be an Apple fan.
Crisis proves character, a legacy forged in crisis.
Apple's turnaround under Steve Jobs is a case study in corporate revival. By focusing on innovation, design, and user experience, Apple not only survived, but thrived.
Jobs' leadership during this crisis forged a legacy that continues to influence Apple to this day. His ability to inspire and challenge his team set the stage for the company's future successes.
The lessons learned during this period are still relevant. Apple's commitment to excellence and its relentless pursuit of innovation are what keep it at the forefront of the tech industry.
In the end, it was this crisis that defined Apple's path forward, transforming it from a struggling company into a global powerhouse. The legacy of this period is a testament to the power of visionary leadership and unwavering belief in a company's potential.